Hi everyone, welcome back to the Slick Chick Show. I am one of your hosts, Lucy, and this is Tahira.
Hello.
And we are here today with a special guest, and so I'm actually going to relinquish my duties as host, and Tahira is going to take over today.
Yes,
and
I'm
interview us both.
running the show today.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have today, Lucy's not co-hosting with me because I'm interviewing these two beautiful ladies. I'm going to start by introducing Pina. Pina Santoro
Hi there.
is a co-owner of Qua Company with Lucy. So they're the sister duo that own the company, and they're one of our sponsors of the show, as you know. But that's not why I'm interviewing them. I'm interviewing them because I have interesting questions for them. And so I want to, we're limited on time, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to get them to explain to me what Kra Company is. And then we're going to get into juicy conversations because they have links to Africa and Ghana in specific. And I have things to ask and say. So stay tuned and watch it. So do you guys want to tell us what Qua Company is?
Sure. As a name, the word Kra means soul in Twi, which you know is Ghanaian dialect. And so it started off with we import natural shea butter, working with a community of women in Ghana that make it for us. So that's sort of our beauty component. We've created products with the natural shea butter we bring in. And then we sort of expanded into beauty, body, and build. And our body component is more the holistic sort of inner spirit side of our souls, offering complementary services and therapies like reflexology, Reiki, and meditation. And then our building component is our give back, in which, I feel, Pina feels is sort of the bigger purpose of humanity.
Right.
And so our proceeds go back to community development in Ghana, and we also support breast cancer communities and women here because they're both sort of passions of ours in communities to connect with.
So individual passions, as I understand. As most of you know, Lucy is a breast cancer survivor, 10 years going strong.
Yay!
And so that's her tie with the build. So there's Kra Company is beauty, body, and build. And build part is what we want to talk about today because that's about building communities. So Pina, tell me, how did Ghana come into your life? I mean, we've talked about this, but
Yes, the short version?
Yes.
The short version is I've always wanted to get to the continent of Africa. And I had turned down a job position with QSO several years ago. And then I started with my current employer. And on my first day, I met this wonderful Ghanaian man who is now my mentor and my angel investor, who is from Ghana. And he said, in conversation, he's like, would you like to go? And I'm like, I would love to go. And not even 12 months later, I'm on a plane, staying with a host family and traveling Ghana for 3 weeks.
Right.
And that's how Ghana came to me. And I went to Ghana. So I never went with the intention of anything other than exploring, enjoying, learning, because it's something I'd always wanted to do. And that was it. Although he said, go with the intention with an open mind, see what you learn, learn something about yourself and others, and then see if we can do anything together. I mean, we're both in the social work field, right? We're both work with the community here in Toronto, and so it only makes sense as an extension of who we are to look to see what other sort of things we can gather and do.
My question is, and I find it really interesting, and we've had this conversation off camera so many times together, collectively, the three of us, and then individually. And what I'm really interested in knowing too is, I like when I talk about Kra and my association with Kra and having Kra as a sponsor on the show, for me is I think of you guys as a social enterprise because I love the give back that you do. And it's not just, and this is going to be offensive to a lot of people, it's not topical give back. Like, it's give back with meaning to each of you individually that you so beautifully bring together. And I like that you both support each other's passions. Like, you've never been to Ghana, but you know what it means to Pina. You, of course, support breast cancer because of Lucy's struggles with the disease and all of that. And I think it just comes together really beautifully. But I wanted to talk to you, Pina, about What's the importance of the investment you have with Ghana? Not just, well, I want to touch on the financial bit of it, like
Sure.
the importance of giving back to the women from that community, but the emotional and the mental tie-in with that. And then I want to pick your brain about something too.
Sure. I think that relationship has started many years ago, and that relationship takes time to build.
Right.
And so the idea of bringing in shea butter was an idea, but that didn't come to fruition, or that whole piece doesn't come together until you start building relationships. And so, I have a contact in Ghana, and her name is Donna, and she works with a group of women who make the shea butter with me, or for us. I say with me because the last time I went, I made it myself, and
Right.
it was a lot of work. And so there's an appreciation there, there's a learning, there's a give and take.
Right.
And so you invest your time and your monies to pay them up front, because you know that's the work, and that's the working relationship you have.
Right.
And so in bringing back the raw shea butter and creating what we create here is a way to showcase all the many uses of shea butter. And
Right.
because it's made by hand, there's an element of when you make things by hand, there's a care and a
Right.
love that
The
goes
love
into
in
it,
yeah,
right? And so and then you pay for that fairly. Right. Like if you have a home cooked meal here, you pay for it fairly. If you have home created products, naturally created
Right.
products, there's a fair
Right.
fair price for that.
Right. But my question would be, and because we're real raw conversation, I'm going to just get into it. There's this idea that the Western world has about saving Africa, right? And then the question would come, and without having a hint of racism, but there is that whole conversation that happens is, what's a white woman doing in Ghana, or what's your commitment to it? And I know it's much deeper than you just going in with the idea to save, because it's different, right? Like you've never been to Ghana, you've never done that, and so for you, it's not really like, you're not looking at it from a viewpoint like the poor people of Ghana need me.
No,
Right.
if anything, I've taken more from Ghana in my learning,
Right.
from the stories, from the people that Pina's connected me with via her experiences.
Right.
So I've learned more from them than maybe I've imparted,
Right.
because their culture, their experiences, and the shea butter is not something that I would have been familiar with had I not been given that opportunity.
Right.
So for me, it's not what am I bringing to Ghana. It's what is Ghana bringing here.
Right.
Yeah, and I really do feel that, I'm well aware of that. Like I'm well aware. I'm not that person. I don't know that
know
person,
that.
right?
I know you personally,
right? Because you know me personally.
know-
But I think anyone who wants to travel to the continent of Africa, or to Ghana specifically, or to Kenya, or wherever,
Right.
go with an open mind to say, what am I going to learn? What am I going to learn? Not only about
Right.
the people, what am I going to learn about myself?
Right.
And so, because I've gone several times,
Right.
I learn all of the time. I
Right.
have a great team who's with me every step of the way, and I learn everywhere we go. Food, music, culture, traditions,
Right.
language. Even though I'm totally not getting the language at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm
It's
really
tough, it's tough.
struggling with Twi. They've tried teaching me. It's just not. It's not easy.
Right.
But my mission isn't to change anybody. If anything, it's to bring a more commonality, right? To show that this is a great product. This is a great community, and they've accepted me, right?
Right.
They've allowed me into their homes.
Right.
I'm not going in to say, hey, I've got an idea that's going to make your life so much better. No, they've come in. They have no idea how much they've empowered my life,
Right.
and how rich my life is because of it.
Right.
So if you go with that intention,
Right.
you'll get so much more out of that experience.
Which I really find interesting, and also one of the reasons I've connected with you ladies from a business point of view with Qua, right? Like that's why we collaborate on so many things, because that's for me really important, right? And it's a whole other conversation, and we had that when we talked about cultural stereotypes about my tie to Africa and all of that. And we've talked off camera about how much it bothers me when people go in with this notion about saving a country or a continent, not necessarily just Africa. There's India. There's other parts of the world that are less the third world countries, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I think it's really interesting. And again, it's just a conversation where we're scratching the surface.
Right.
We could go on for a really long time, but I also like that you guys do so many local initiatives. So you're part of the build of Kra is local, community, and international, which is so great.
Right.
And what I really liked recently that you did was the library
Right.
project. And I like how you've managed to tie in both communities. So you had your local people contribute to this cause. And do you want to?
Yes.
Talk about
So
it.
my last the purpose of the last trip was to sort of get the groundwork done in Sandema, which is where I get the shea butter. And I thought, how can we create a greater impact for the community? And it's really focusing on children. And so we did a ground tour of all the schools that are there. And in Sandema alone, there's 15 schools. And we initially went in with a mobile library in mind. And
Yes.
as we got into our brainstorming and exploration, it just makes more sense to have books directly in classrooms. And so it's been great, like since we've launched the initiative,
Right.
and asking for books, the community here the response has been overwhelming.
Right.
We have boxes and boxes of books that I'm trying to sort out and get
Right.
get shipped out to Sandema, which is wonderful. And so that's a way of saying, yes, we are so much alike. Children need to read, and we
Right.
love reading, and so let's share that opportunity
Right.
and exchange, right? Because
Right.
then so many other conversations take place when you read about a story,
Right.
right?
And it wasn't about, we're coming in and we're making this village better.
Right.
We know what this village needs. It was more, she had an opportunity to meet with principals and teachers and the director of education to say, what do you need?
Right.
How can I help? And not, here, this is what you need.
Okay, so we're just going to pick up where we left off. We had a few technical glitches, and hopefully everything merges well when we air. But if not, then you're watching two videos.
Right.
And I just wanted to say, we ended with Lucy talking about asking the community what they need rather than assuming. And I was just saying to the ladies that I think that is something really brilliant and really something admirable. And that's why I wanted to have you on to talk about it. I wanted to have Kra on, Lucy and you on, to talk about it, is because I think it's really Kra. It's a business with soul, right?
Yes.
And it represents that, and it's about being responsible with your products, right? And having that real soul to it. And I am in a stage in my life where I am collaborating work-wise, purchasing things for my personal use and into places. I'm investing into places both emotionally, mentally, financially, that are ringing true and doing something that's making the world a better place.
Yes.
Be it through initiatives that they do, or just being responsible with their recycling, whatever it is. And I think that's what Kra represents, and that's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to sort of have you guys on and talk about that, because it's really reflecting that soul of having the world be a better place, irrespective, crossing cultural boundaries, local community boundaries, and bringing them together, And so thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a
for
pleasure
being part
being
of
here.
this. And I'm thanking Lucy. She's recording at some point. But we shall see you again for another episode. And we wanted to say thank you to our sponsors, Kra Co, Glam Jewels, and Authentic Factor. And we'll see you again for another episode soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.